Oh, welcome into the 14A Sports Radio Show.
Yeah! Weenie in the butt.
Everybody, welcome in on this 13th of November, 2013. And as always, the 14A Sports Radio Show is brought to you by the Big Apple Sports Palace. With the wall-to-wall TVs, you'll never miss a beat of the action. Call them up tonight and get some of the town's greatest food delivered to your door. 201-858-1075.
Wow, I think Walsh practiced that.
Oh, he was definitely in the mirror going,
Welcome to the 14A Sports Radio Show, Michael.
wall to wall. You could really turn a phrase over there.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got
no, I
the
like
place is loaded with televisions.
A lot better than punitive damages.
And the thin crust.
Oh,
the thin
yeah.
crust.
Oh, and the wings.
How many thin crust slices do you think you'd eat?
I could probably drop down 24 in one sitting.
No!
Yeah.
24?
It's
This
thin
is like
crust.
the pace race.
You
where he
said
he
you
could
drink 40 beers in 4 hours.
Nobody wants to watch anyone eat a whole thin crust pie. They want 3 thin crust pies.
I will bet you right now. I'll bet you a tattoo, which we're
Oh,
supposed to
wow.
have.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll bet you we're not getting tattoos, but we'll
No.
make a bet that you can't eat 24 slices.
Okay.
All right, we're
All right.
doing that.
For one show.
And neither of us have a tattoo, so this is.
For what? Well, yeah, you're not. It's
I'm
really
not-
different.
And is there a time limit on this?
Of course.
like an hour,
That's too
an hour and a half,
33 and a third.
33 and a third minutes.
33.333.
You have to average one slice per minute.
All
It's
right.
like power hour.
Well, tonight on the radio show, we've got 2 members of the NJCU women's basketball team joining us. We're going to have Ashley Vasquez and Bria Smith, both of the
Nice,
team.
nice.
Both Gothic Knights will be here on
They
the
must just
round
be
table.
starting up their season, I guess. Right?
Yes, they are. We're going to get into all of them about that. Speaking of college basketball, last night we had a tremendous night of hoops.
Yeah.
Opening off the night there at the United Center in Chicago, you had the Kentucky Wildcats going against the Michigan State Spartans. You know, Michigan State comes out on top of that. I know we were just talking about it. You said already pencil the Sparty in for national championship.
Well,
Or the Final
how
Four.
about the Final Four.
Yeah.
I mean, time is those teams always make deep tournament runs. They play that physical Big Ten basketball. You know, they pound you on the boards.
Yeah.
Just a physical group. And they came out and they showed it right off the tap. You know, Kentucky coming in, the number 1 recruiting class maybe ever, right?
Number 1 team in the nation.
Ranked number 1. The first team to ever lose an NIT to number 1 preseason. Just have a stacked team. And you know what I liked about that? Before the game, a bunch of Kentucky people had 40-0 T-shirts.
Oh,
nice. They only
That's
came
nice.
up. They only came up 40 games short. But
Kentucky, that game looked like looked like freshmen. I mean, Michigan State definitely showed their vet poise in the first half, especially. And then that second half, Joseph Randall just came out and started doing beast work on the inside. And, I mean, the reason that Kentucky lost that game was the free-throw shooting. And, I mean, I don't know if you watched the game, but I guess college basketball is introducing this new freedom of movement policy.
Goodness gracious.
So a lot of touch fouls being called. Both teams were in the penalty early in both halves. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays out throughout
This
the
is
year.
certainly not the Rucker Park League we got going on here.
No.
My God.
And I guess they're trying to generate more scoring. You know, people, the NFL is doing the same. The NBA loosened up. You can't touch anybody in the NBA. But the problem, and that NCAA tournament last year, until you get the Final Four, actually very well played. But nobody can make a shot in college basketball. No one can make a shot.
Yeah.
But you had, honestly, last night, the collection of talent between the 2 games and those 4 teams, that might be the most talent that you ever see in one building.
Well, I mean, they were saying
collegiate-wise.
potential 11 lottery picks, I think, something like
like
that.
20
I mean, between all the guys.
Between 20 and 25, draft picks, which is unprecedented.
And then what about the second game? Walsh, your Dukies coming
Yep.
up short.
All right, on time there with the 3 minutes. Beautiful.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, all right.
So last night Duke goes down, 94-83. Obviously, the score not indicative of how the game goes.
Yeah.
Duke, 16, again, free throws killing the team. 16 of 28 there at the free throw
Yeah, you gotta be
line.
better than
That sealed this game's fate down the stretch. There were points where Duke could have pulled away had they just made their free throws, but did not happen.
But again, you had 2 absolute studs going head to head. Besides Julius Randle at Kentucky, probably the 2, definitely Wiggins was the highest recruited player out of the country.
But before
Jabari
that,
Parker, a Chicago native, Chicago prep school star. And as a Duke fan, who doesn't he remind you of Grant Hill, man?
Yeah, well, they're saying
my
with that
God.
lob dump there.
Oh, he reminds you.
It looked exactly like
him. Yeah, get a little high top fade like Hill.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what, I'm very excited for this season coming up with
He's gonna be
Jabari
good.
I want to have a son just so I can name him Jabari.
I'll bet you that you can't
Jabari
eat 24th
Walsh.
inside. And you actually have to do that.
Jabari Walsh. J. Walsh. I can see the future. The
But,
future is bright for this.
You know, I was impressed with his outside shooting. He knocked down a couple of threes.
Yeah.
He had a
looked
couple
like
back-to-back.
it was like nothing for him. So,
But a typical Duke team outside, they didn't shoot the threes as efficiently, and they were usually Duke. They aim to make more free throws than the opponent shoot, but a Duke team just got killed on the boards, man.
Yep.
They got killed on the
Yeah.
boards. They don't have that inside presence. Parker, 6'8",
Plumlees.
big play. Well, that Mason Plumlee, he's useless. He's absolutely useless.
Yeah.
He at least the other two had a little bit of athletic skill. He got nothing.
I do gotta ask. I thought Krzyzewski wasn't going for the one and dones. Is that not true? I thought when that came out, he said he's not going to do that.
I think you got to have some of these guys so you can succeed. I mean, listen, the talent's going to always be there with these guys, So you got to take your shots when you can. Kyrie Irving was probably the last guy from Duke to be there.
Yeah.
But a guy like Jabari Parker, you're not going to turn him down, just because
No.
he's not coming back. I mean, you want that on your team, even if it's for 1 year.
Right, it's the one and dones. I don't think Krzyzewski's ever going to go full fledged one and done like Coach Cal at Kentucky. But yeah, it's the nature of the beast. You kind of have to if you want to compete.
You kind of got to bend to the rules.
You know what I'm thinking as I'm watching Wiggins and Parker go at it. Who Wiggins a little slow in the first half, but absolutely turned it on. You can see all that high caliber skill in the second. Imagine these guys stayed in college for 3 or 4 years.
Oh,
and
my
listen,
God.
I'm not blaming them whatsoever. I think they should be able to go right out of high school if they chose. But imagine they stayed in college for 3 to 4 years, and you could have these kind of elite
Games,
players
like, all the time.
right? Like we haven't seen that. Grant Hill, Glenn Robinson in the '94 Final Four. When was the last time you had two, surefire top 5 picks, going head to head?
I mean,
That was to get to the Final Four. But, I understand what you're saying. But, yeah, I mean, listen, I want to see these guys in the NBA. I like the NBA game a lot more than I like the college game.
But importantly, the college game has suffered because all the talent leaves for the NBA.
Yeah.
That's
It's
I
chicken and egg there,
and the couple of guys that we're talking about, probably could go right to the NBA. The 3 guys that we
Yes.
just mentioned.
Yes.
Without a problem, it seems like. But, there's a lot of times a guy jumped, Austin Rivers as an example, probably that should have stayed, got more reps in college, but jumped early probably because of the draft class that was coming out, just to try to get the earlier draft spot. But, back to your point.
Oh!
I was just going to mention the Fab Five,
No,
and and then you see Kentucky starting like 5 freshmen, and just
Right.
seeing those guys progress throughout their careers. But on to the next one.
Decision Day filling in for HD
Bang!
here.
Hammer the bell.
Doing a bang-up
Tremendous
job.
All right, so let's move it over to the pro game like we were just talking about. So the Knicks and the Nets right now, both of them not starting out so hot. Both got 2-4 records right now.
Yeah.
Comes down today that Knicks, they're trying to move Shumpert for Fareed over there in Denver.
Yeah.
As a Knicks fan, how do you feel about this?
I don't totally get it. Their front court's a little crowded already. I know Chandler's out, but a lot of what Chandler does,
Doo-doo.
Uselessness.
but a lot of what Chandler does is like a defensive presence, which is Fareed is not. He's like an energy guy, rebounds, but he's not like a defensive stopper back there. So,
Right.
And then apparently Denver's looking for draft picks too. The Knicks just got to stop
They
hemorrhaging their future for immediately wins. It's like a recurring cycle of terribleness.
Let me ask you something with this. Now, I know that they're limiting Amari Stoudemire's minutes. And now,
Yeah, but now-
Kenya Martin.
yeah, why are they limiting Martin's minutes? They don't have money invested in
He's
him.
older,
Just
though.
stick him on the court, use him as long
You
as
want
you
him for the
can.
stretch run, though. That's what you saw a lot with those Knicks veterans last year, that they just broke down. Jason Kidd couldn't even hit a chippy if if his life depended on it. And I think that's what they're just trying to protect a little. But, they need some wins now. They got Atlanta tonight. They got Houston, I think, coming up tomorrow night at home. So,
We'll go into the minutes restriction, and you read the paper, and who knows what's true and what's not. But old JD and the straight shooter, owner Jim Dolan, had a concert and guaranteed that the Knicks were going to win tonight.
Yeah.
Which, what? That's one thing. But here's the other thing that they said, and no one, because the Knicks, the Garden media, they came out that someone literally follows Mike Woodson around everywhere he goes.
Really?
Like, they go on the road to a hotel, and
not
the Garden
Mike, James
guy.
Dolan.
No,
Right? Or
someone
Woodson.
follows around. Someone from the Garden follows Woodson around to make because anytime he interviews with the press, Like someone asked him about
You mean
Dolan.
the African American Mr. Potato Head?
Tone low.
Tone low.
That's what I'm talking about. But somebody asked him about the Dolan guarantee, and Woodson answers, and then the guard guy stepped in and goes, "All right, we're done.
Yeah?
Interview over."
Wow.
So
I mean-
they have somebody falling around. So my point is, they're saying that James Dolan is the one putting the minutes
Oh, yeah.
restrictions on these
Oh,
guys.
my
It's
God.
not even a product of the basketball people.
But it's also a guy saying that the 7th game of the season's a must-win.
As long
you know?
as Dolan owns that franchise, they are not doing anything.
Nah.
I mean, the rumor on the street was that a couple years back, Phil Jackson could have came to New York, and he wanted to come to New York, but Dolan didn't want him there
I
because
don't
Dolan
believe
didn't
that.
want him taking the spotlight.
I don't believe the Phil Jackson thing, but listen.
Why not? He
When
had
Dolan,
Melo,
when
he had
Dolan
a
is
star.
Dolan, Dolan is Fred Wilpon.
And when Fred Wilpon is Fred Wilpon, he's Jerry Jones. But I mean, similar with Dallas. I mean, the more the owner's involved, I feel like the worse it
100%.
is. And you know, just
You think they tank for Jabari here?
I don't
Maybe
know.
trade Melo?
No,
Well, I mean,
they're not going to trade
Their,
Melo.
their big mistake was not amnesty and Amari 2 years ago when they had the
Right.
chance.
They
And I mean,
amnesty-
obviously, I don't think you saw this decline in talent and play happen, but I mean, you could have got rid of Billups and you could have had some cap space to sign guys.
And
Amari's just-
they amnestied Billups to get Chandler, but
Yeah, but they could have amnestied Amari
Agreed.
to get Chandler.
All right, so move it over to the other side of the town in Brooklyn. Now we got so
That
the
was-
air horn was that?
confusing bells.
That's all right. That's fine. I love that sound. But now the Nets themselves are at 2-4 in the midst. Well, I guess they're going to start a West Coast swing right now. They got Sacramento tonight. Obviously, a game you got to get here tonight. The Nets haven't even won a game on the road yet. I know it's 6 games in, but still, with this roster, you got to get it done.
Yeah.
I know D. Will says he's ready to go.
Well, yeah, I think it's still just them guys getting used to each other. I'm less worried about the Nets than I am about the Knicks. I mean, I think those guys,
Right.
those pieces fit. I think they just got to come together and do it on a night in and night out basis.
Well, just real quick, if you want to compare the Knicks and the Nets, I think the Knicks are devoid of talent. The Nets are trying to figure out how the talent fits together. I
Right.
think that's the difference. Kid, continuously is preaching patience. He's not rocking the boat at all, and you don't see that with him going forward. He sees that he has the talent. But I think it all comes back to Deron Williams or Darren Williams, whatever his
name is.
Darren, I just figured this
Will.
out recently.
Yeah, Darren Williams. Listen, if Darren Williams isn't going to be a lead point guard, they're going to be in trouble. They really are. And I don't like the attitude. You're 6 games in. He's like, all right, I'm ready to start playing. All right, if you're injured, then you're injured. But if you're playing, then your performance dictates, who you are. So don't tell me 6 games in that you're ready to start playing after you already played 6 games. So I think the Nets season hinges on Deron Williams or Darren Williams. Are they going to make the playoffs? Yes, they have too much talent not to.
Yeah.
But how far they go, if they're a legitimate contender in the East to the Pacers, to the Heat, to the Bulls, it's all on Darren Williams.
Well,
I think that's what it comes down
and
to.
that's the thing. You don't want to get caught up in being one of those 5 or 6 seeds because you're probably playing the Bulls, the Pacers, or the Heat. And the Pacers look like freaking world beaters right now.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone thought Chicago was going to come take the crown, but it looks like Paul George is legit, and that team is gunning for a title.
Speaking of, they have Danny Granger.
I mean,
as a
yeah.
trade chip, either
And
as a
has
player
he
or
even been
expiring
playing?
contract.
I mean, I haven't seen much of
He's
him,
out the
but-
first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
Nets better get their act together. They're making me look foolish here by picking them second in the Eastern Conference.
Well, that's not that hard to do, is it?
Hey. Be nice. Be nice. Be very nice. But yeah, again, you don't want to be a James Dolan and say, hey, tonight's a must win. But, the Nets got to get on track here. And, as you said, there's too much talent on this team. And, that makes sense. That they're
With
just
guys
trying
like
to figure it out.
Garnett and Pierce who've been there before, I think they'll get it in gear. I think they'll get it in line.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be fine. Garnett, you could tell, is still trying to feel his way. Where's his shots coming from? When should he shoot? When should he be aggressive? When does he need to just be a defensive presence? I also think they need to feature Brook Lopez more. A couple games ago, Lopez comes out, has 17, 18 points
Against
in the first
Utah,
half,
yeah.
and then he comes back. He only had like 6 the rest of the game. You got to give him the ball, man.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez, it seems like he could take the leap. That he has that kind of skill. Could be a real offensive center, which are void in the NBA, and he could be one of those guys. But I think it hinges on, again, it goes back to Darren Williams. You got to get him the ball. You got to get him the ball in the right spot.
Yeah.
Well, as Bobby D loves to say, Brooke Shields, first half NBA Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you know what? He absolutely said that last year. That he plays great in the first half and then goes away. But is that him, or is that a
the
product?
offense?
Is that a product of the offense, namely Darren Williams?
Yeah, I think Deron Williams, Joe Johnson, and Brooke Lopez got to carry them during the regular season. And I think they got guys like Garnett and Pierce to get them over that bump in the playoffs, and that's what they're.
Well,
that's
one of the things I said when they first made this trade, there's only one ball to go around for all these superstars, and they're gonna have to figure this out. There's just no other solution to it. KG eventually, the mighty Garnett, in the locker room will
He's
eventually.
looking a little older though this year.
Well, of course.
Sure,
these NBA players don't get younger as the years go along.
No, but even seeing these guys playing at this level now at their advanced age is crazy. But yes, guys like him and Steve Nash, you just look at it, you're just like, ooh. Might be a little worse than we expected.
Steve Nash is done, man. Once you mess that back up, forget it. It's a wrap. But yeah, I think Indiana, man. Well, how about the Heat? Is that early season bumps for them?
Yeah,
they're going to straighten up. Or
I think that they struggled a little bit in the early season last year too, and then they went on that crazy run. I don't think that they'll
26 last year,
27,
27,
something like
27,
that.
yeah.
I think what everyone's talking about is that their defense has just been lackluster, and everyone says that they can go to that next level. And it's just, question like how early do they want to start putting it into high gear, or they lost to the Celtics the other night, who I guess is surprising teams, but still, no way that a team with that talent versus the Celtics should lose ever.
And they gave give Boston credit for hanging in, but they gave that game away. Dwayne Wade goes to the free throw line up 2.
Yeah.
With what was it?
0.6?
Yeah,
and then
0.6 left.
he just totally misses it on the second.
That made no sense.
Like you said,
make the shot,
like
make
he
them
has
throw the ball
poop on
full
the ball.
Yeah. He shot that like Vince Young throwing a football. Absolutely horrible.
Just watching that one. All right, Bell, for the football. Ding, ding.
Let's get into it.
All
right. So we got the New York Giants this week at a game. You going to be at this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will be at that one.
I'll have to get together, do a little tailgate in action.
Absolutely. I'm not even going to make it out of there out of Bayonne until probably like 1:30. So
1:30.
Yeah, I got a championship football game on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Whoa,
serious things.
However, let's get to more important things.
All right, well, whenever you get there, I'll be tailgating.
So the Giants have the Green Bay Packers this week. This is obviously a very winnable game now that the Packers have their third-string quarterback in.
Sure.
How do you guys see this game playing out?
Well, I like to go back to the Raider game.
Okay.
Obviously, the Giants won, but Andre Brown, a youth spark. That offensive line looks like it's coming together.
Something we haven't seen all year.
It looks like it's absolutely coming together. But that the team scores points through the air. That's what the Giants. That's how they're going to win games. They score points through the air. Now, do they need a consistent running game? I know they won the Super Bowl with a 30th ranked rushing attack, but in the playoffs they ran the football. They need to run the ball, absolutely. But Eli's been awful.
Eli's
been awful.
Yeah.
Hakeem Nicks is not an elite player anymore. Cruz and Manning were completely off in the last game. You got to give a lot of credit to the defense, who keeps coming up with big play after big play.
The offense or special teams basically spotted them 17 points.
Absolutely.
And you can't do that, especially if you plan on going on this crazy run to try to get back to the playoffs. Thank God Terrell Pryor looked like he couldn't throw the ball past 10 yards down the field. But, that defense bailed him out of that game huge. And, Eli, you can't – how many pick sixes is he going to throw this year, never mind his career?
We're at 3. So let's keep the tally.
Hey, he's no Matty Schaub, all right?
But still.
Listen, the Giants have 3. You never give the win back. 3 in a row. You take it, absolutely. They're going into Green Bay. You get that Green Bay win, and now here comes your season. You got Dallas, right? But, Eli Manning has to play better for them to be legit.
Yeah.
I know they have 3 in a row. They're 3-6. That division stinks. So on paper, are they a contender for that division? Yeah, on paper. In my mind, they're not, because Eli Manning's been awful. He's been awful. He's played terribly.
Yeah.
Until he starts playing better, it doesn't matter. Dallas can keep losing. It doesn't matter because the Giants aren't going anywhere. After those 3 games, they got a tough schedule, and they're gonna have to play. Eli's got to play he's got to play at an elite level, and until he does that, it doesn't matter to me as a Giant fan.
Well, I think hopefully what you saw with Brown was a little over the one way, going with 30-something runs in 1 week. I don't think the Giants want to give Brown that much work or any of their running backs that much work. But I think hopefully, what they could do is get a little more bounce back and take that pass rush a little way, knock that down, and get Eli a little more comfortable. Because if anything, I think what he's doing this year is just rushing throws too much and just nervous that he's got that clock in his head. He's got to do something before the rush gets to him, and he's just forcing balls and just not thinking. So hopefully, if they can get that set up, establish that, do a little play action, make throws off that, get him on the move, and put that to their advantage. The defense has been playing great.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's
Absolutely.
not been world beater offenses, but still, they're not just letting up BS plays, you know.
And you can't run it on them.
And you
can't run it on
play
them.
your schedule, and you know,
Absolutely.
hey, so you know, hopefully they get W this week.
I mean, if you look at the Chiefs, the number of backup quarterbacks the Chiefs has played has been absurd.
Oh yeah.
So you got to play the teams of your schedule. And the Giants get a huge break.
Huge.
By not having Rodgers.
With no Rodgers in there. If there's any team in the NFL that is maybe one man dependent, maybe you look at the Colts. Maybe you look at Green Bay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Well, you
anybody
could,
with a top, like, I mean, you say the same thing about the Saints. I mean, Denver. I mean, I don't know how.
Yeah, but I feel like those. Okay, no, absolutely. But I mean, Denver has a ton of talent. But you know that team, that offense, Zion, Aaron Rodgers, his mobility, his ability to throw outside the pocket.
absolutely.
Green Bay almost made a game out of it last week with if Jordy Nelson caught that fourth down ball, I think they were within one score.
Right.
And so, you know, I mean, you never know what happens.
Well, you saw, you know, that game against Minnesota that Green Bay had on that Sunday night game. You know, they didn't have any of their main receivers in there. Aaron Rodgers had one of the best games he's had in his whole
I guess
career.
Jordy was about the only.
They scored on every single
They
possession.
ran the ball great too, and
Wow.
I think that without him in there, you know, you shrink the field.
Well, that's
bring an
something
extra
that
guy
the
in
Giants
box.
been doing against the run. I think
Right.
that's going to help them much.
Well,
but
just real quick, their game plan against Green Bay has to be exactly what they did against Minnesota. And that Minnesota team with Josh Freeman on that Monday night game.
Oh, boy.
When they got their first win. That has to be the same exact. Stop the run.
And
Stop
then
the run.
just-
And
and
let
just rush the
Tolson
crap out of
or
him.
whatever.
Toljan?
Let
Yeah.
him try to beat
whoever
you.
he is, but make him beat you.
And if he beats you, then you don't deserve to win a game.
yeah, they just got him off the practice squad 2 weeks ago. So
They did sign Matty Flynn though, so we'll see if he makes it.
apparently
if he
Matty-
he
rears
don't
his,
do crap.
his beautiful head.
He has a great last name, my mother's maiden name, so I like him for that. But apparently his elbow's shot. Apparently he can't even throw. That's why they didn't sign him initially, because he can't throw.
Yeah.
Well,
Bef-
yeah, my elbow shot too. I wish somebody gave me a $40 million contract.
Before we move on to the New York Jets, I have some sad news for everyone. The NJCU Gals will not be able to make it in tonight. Car trouble. So that's three
Are you
guests.
supposed to give him a ride?
3 or 4, 5 guests that we had cancel on us tonight. So we're gonna scrap
Well, how
together
about
that
and
second
how about
segment.
the tattoo guys?
Yeah, they crapped.
So,
they
but
crapped.
I
on
was
us, too.
telling people about that. So elaborate.
So what we had here is we had Johnny Riggs against Bob Johnson, two of Bayonne's finest. Not cops or firemen, just people.
Just
So,
14
Just
finest.
fine people.
14 finest, as Gordo would
So
say.
Johnny Riggs, a Giants fan, made a bet against Bob, a Raiders fan, and the loser had to get a tattoo with the other person's name on it. So obviously Bob loses this one, and he's got to get Johnny Riggs'
And I
name
was asked
tattooed.
about that. Obviously, they didn't deal with the spread, huh?
No, that's what I'm thinking. And here's my
Yeah.
thing:
That's crazy.
how the hell do you make a tattoo bet on the Raiders? The Raiders are a team you bet
Straight
like a
up.
you bet like
Straight up, money,
yeah.
money line.
You bet like a pizza or like a 6-pack on the Raiders.
right.
You don't
Nipsey-
bet that.
Nipsey bet a chug of beer on the Giants to the 7 points, and
Yeah.
he took a loss. But you don't bet. You're right. You don't bet a tattoo and not
I'll
even
chug
take
a
the
beer.
points.
No.
Take the points.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to the Jets real quick, and then we'll hit the commercial break, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do for the next segment.
All right.
All right. So the
All right.
Jets head up to Orchard Park this Sunday. They're gonna take on the Buffalo Bills.
Is that what it's called? Orchard Park?
Yeah, that's
Orchard
the name of the
Park.
town.
That sounds entirely too nice to be
Quick,
in Buffalo.
quick offshoot from here, though. A lot of Buffalo fans down in Pittsburgh this weekend.
Yeah?
They were
Oh, yeah.
playing the Steelers that
Well, that's
Sunday.
not a far trip.
Hmm?
That's not a far trip.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that it has to. I mean, like,
No.
but I guess do they just drive out west a little and drive south? Is that what it is?
Southwest.
Our travel agent, Al
Southwest.
Walsh.
I'm gonna go with.
Al
on
Walsh,
that one.
he does all the
Let me
booking
pull
for
up
the NFL
map.
teams.
Let me put up MapQuest real quick.
But yeah, a lot of Buffalo fans out that Saturday night. So I was proud of them for showing their face. Getting out there for the team, even though it didn't apparently come through for them. But
No, it didn't come
no,
through.
no. They look
apparently
bad
not.
too.
You know what I thought was weird? Because I'm watching that Notre Dame game, and it's at night, and I'm thinking, there's an NFL game here in like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
redo the whole field. Yeah. With that Notre Dame game, so you went to that Notre Dame pick game, huh?
Frustrating. I mean, real quick offshoot of that game, but I don't know if you guys were watching it, but
You like to offshoot.
I love
Back
I
to
like
back.
big
offshoots.
offshooter.
but the Notre Dame defensive tackle got thrown out for targeting
That was ridiculous.
on when the quarterback was running the ball.
That was a
and
ridiculous
lowers
call.
his head, and then the Notre Dame defensive tackle puts his shoulder down, and they bump helmets, and they call that targeting. And I was going to the bathroom when this play happened, and the Pittsburgh commentators from local TV were like, "This is an easy call. Obviously, this guy's going home for the night." And I'm like, "What TV is this guy watching?" And if that's the rule in college, that is terrible.
You know what the worst part of that is too? that's obviously a 15-yard unsportsmanlike, but the target throws you out of the game.
Yep.
But they always
Yeah.
review the target,
Yep.
so
And
they
they
went
still called
and
it.
reviewed it and
And they
still
still
threw him
called
out.
it.
Ridiculous.
That's what I was frustrating. But more frustrating was Notre Dame turned the ball over twice in the red zone.
Tommy Rees,
I
man.
mean, and Tommy Rees I don't know what he was doing.
Now, if you take a look at my computer screen, I was
Oh, it's only
absolutely
3:40.
right. Little southwest. Looks like a little snake trip down there from
All right.
Orchard
I
Park to
I thought it was much further.
What's the
But,
hour? How long?
3:40.
Yeah, no, I mean, so it was almost 6 for us from Jersey. So.
Yeah, that's a lot further from Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, it seems like a lot of fans were going to the Saturday night game and then also to the game the next day. So
Double header, Michael.
yeah, but Buffalo. I mean, just a quick offshoot. Talk about Buffalo looked terrible in that game. I don't know
They
what
did.
happened. I mean,
They
Pittsburgh
sure
might have
did.
maybe just been fired up because they were home, needed a W. There was a lot of talk about Roethlisberger quitting on the team. but-
EJ's first game back off the injury. A little rust
thought they
there.
should be able to
Stevie
run the ball.
Johnson's not the
he's
same.
banged up.
Well, with the Steelers, before that or during that week, they had a report saying that Roethlisberger requested a trade or
Yeah.
demanded a trade, I should say.
And he is
And,
pissed.
Yeah, he came
is
out. It
pissed.
was like he was going to rape a girl in a bathroom.
This is
He
great.
was not happy.
An offshoot, real quick. There's a
right.
there's a story on the Onion today, and it said Roethlisberger claims Pittsburgh is undoubtedly his home. Millions of Pittsburghans are frightened.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
But I don't like the Jets this weekend.
Yeah.
they struggled on the road.
Bills are
You know,
1-point favorite here.
They're 1-3 on the road, I think, this season so far. It seems like every road game they really come out flat. I know they had the bye week this past week, and I mean it's a big game for them because if they could win and then New England loses, they're within one game of that division. Which I mean nobody's still coming, but
Yeah.
I don't see good things for them. But I don't know. What do you think, Mully?
I'll tell you what. Take I'm going to look at the season as a whole first. The Jets are in the driver's seat for that last divisional wild card, that 6th spot. Miami, I guess, is the team closest.
Miami is
I
Miami.
think San Diego is the best team, but they've taken a number of heartbreaking losses,
Yeah.
which is kind of like San
And can you
Diego's
get-
trademark,
can you
right?
get
3 out
of
They've
the
done
West?
that. They've
Oh,
done
yeah.
that forever.
Can you get 3 out of
and
the
that
West, though,
schedule.
too?
But Miami with all that incognito nonsense.
Incog nonsense.
I like your Bucks
That ain't
finally
nice.
came up
That
with a
ain't
win.
nice.
Woo! Let's pop the
where's
the
Andre.
jersey?
I don't know. I had to go to the doctors before.
But yeah, I mean,
I wasn't
the biggest
rolling
thing about
into the
that is
doctor's
losing 2 starting linemen. I mean, how do you make up for that one?
And that line stunk to begin with.
Oh yeah.
But
Real shitty.
to the Jets, I mean, they have the inside track on that. 8-8 might get that playoff spot. It
Yeah.
I
really
think
might.
it's
They're
for them
right
is
there.
that they don't have that tiebreaker versus Tennessee.
Tennessee beat them.
And
But
Tennessee,
no,
I mean,
but
how did they lose to
I
freaking
mean,
Jaguars?
I think
God
Ryan
damn.
Fitzpatrick, is decent. Is a decent backup for obviously a lot.
Not decent enough to beat freaking Jacksonville.
Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick sucks. I don't know why I just nodded my head. I was in La La Land. Continue.
No Fitzpatrick. I
No.
like the Harvard.
you just
Irish
like
guy.
the Irish last
The
name.
Irish guy, yeah. I like Fitz.
I like the Harvard.
Hey, Fitzy. Yeah.
Oh, Fitz. Hey, Fitz, throw a couple more interceptions, you jerk.
All right.
Speaking of Jacksonville's win, that actually ended the 14-8
Sure
suicide
did.
pool.
Let's get
I
a
was in that as well.
big round of applause there.
I was the one on the Tennessee bandwagon, and they freaking
yeah,
screwed it.
you and 10
Everybody
other guys.
else.
Mark
yeah.
Zajac is the winner in this one.
With the Giants.
Yeah.
The
Unbelievable.
freaking
Should've-
Giants.
And it almost came down to everybody losing. If everybody lost, what would have happened?
We would have cut everyone's
You would've-
heads off.
Nah. Everyone had to get a tattoo of 14A.
I would have just invited everybody to one location and been like, "Here it is."
Yeah.
Well, I
Make
think
it
in
rain.
that case, you just carry it over to next week. and
No,
just
you
repair.
know what we really would have did? We would have did like a Hunger Games style.
Yeah.
Throwing you all out in the woods, and last man standing takes the cash.
Good thing I just got
That'd
my
be
bow and
awesome.
arrow at Cabela's.
Oh, that would have been
That was a great movie, by the way. I just saw that.
Yeah, I
fairly
dig it.
recently.
Next
That was a
one's
great
coming
movie.
out.
Yeah.
What, this
Katniss
Friday?
Everdeen, I would not mess with her.
What?
I would mess with her, but
No.
not in the Hunger Games field.
Jennifer Lawrence just
But
chopped all her hair off
in
too.
my bedroom.
Did
No.
not like that.
No, why?
Did
Down
not
with it.
like that.
No.
I like it.
Listen, this is my
She looks
theory
like a
in
little
life.
Norwegian boy
I
with
think
big
actually her and
boobies
Mulhern
now.
have the same haircut actually right now. I think it looks strikingly similar. I was wondering what Mully was going for this weekend.
Your haircut is looking very degenerate like.
Looking very degenerous.
Oh, I look like a lesbian? So it worked!
No wonder I'm pulling out all this tail.
Anything to help the cause. All right, let's hit the first
My Tinder
commercial
game's
break.
through the roof.
When we get back, we'll do a little baseball hot stove since we didn't get to that in the opening, and then we'll continue with some more NFL as well. Let's get to a video right now from Dougie F. This one's called
Dougie.
Holy Water.
Oh,
This is a new one.
I want to hear some of this.
Magna Carta, holy
Teach
water.
me how to Dougie water.
This is just a song though. This isn't a video, so if you're looking for that, we're sorry.
That's probably a good thing, honestly.
That's all right.
No burning.
You
crosses.
just keep our handsome
Did I-
images up on the screen.
Did I ever tell you that story? So, like, we're going on the radio, like, the first or second time we're on. So I'm telling people to watch. And one of my buddies that has, like, 2 little kids, right? Him and his wife have it on. And so
Video comes on.
they catch, like, 2 minutes of it. And it's like, boom, boom. And it has, like, guys going bananas with burning crosses and stuff. The next time I see him, he goes, "What are you telling me to watch? I got my kids in a room."
Ear muffet first, kids.
My bad.
All right, well, you won't see any of
They
that.
gotta
from-
grow up sometime. I
You
told
won't
them.
see any of that on the Holy Water from Dougie F. But we'll get back to our show after this one. We are 14 Sports on 15 Minutes of Fame Radio. We'll be right back.